Let's define our terms. Paternalism is the interference of a state or an individual with another person against their will and defended or motivated by a claim that the person interfered with will be better off or protected from harm. Note the distinction. Jacobson v. Massachusetts was about protecting asterisk, others asterisk, the harm principle. Paternalism is about protecting asterisk you from yourself asterisk. It is a conflict between the principle of beneficence, the desire to do good, and the principle of autonomy, the right to choose. When the state bans trans fats, they aren't saving your neighbor, they are saving your arteries. They are asserting that their scientific knowledge of nutrition trumps your culinary preference for a donut. Let's start with soft paternalism. This is the intervention to protect people who cannot protect themselves because their decision-making is compromised. This includes children, people with severe cognitive impairments, or people acting out of ignorance. The logic here is that the person's choice is not truly voluntary because they don't understand the risks or lack the capacity to weigh them. We don't let children buy cigarettes. We don't let confused patients wander into traffic. Soft paternalism is not really overriding a person's will. It is protecting their future self until they can make a rational choice. Most people, even libertarians, accept soft paternalism as a necessary function of a humane society. John Stuart Mill, the great champion of liberty, gave the famous example of the bridge to explain this. Imagine you see a man walking toward a bridge that you know is rotten and will collapse. He doesn't know it. Mill argues you are justified in grabbing him and pulling him back, physically interfering with his liberty. Why? Because he does not desire to fall into the river. His will is to cross the bridge. His ignorance is about to kill him. You are aligning his action with his true intent. However, Mill argues that once you tell him, "Sir, the bridge is out," if he says, "I know, I want to take the risk," then you must let him go. At that point, soft paternalism ends. If you stop him then, it becomes hard paternalism. Hard paternalism is where the fight happens. This is when the state intervenes in the choices of a fully competent, informed adult. Take motorcycle helmet laws. If a rider says, "I know the stats, I know I might die, and I choose to ride without a helmet because I value the sensation of wind in my hair more than safety." Hard paternalism says, "We don't care. You have to wear it anyway." The state is substituting its value judgment, safety is paramount, for the individual's value judgment, freedom is paramount. This is difficult to justify in a free society. To justify it, the state usually has to pivot back to a public cost argument. How do policymakers justify hard paternalism? They almost always use the social cost argument. They argue, if you crash your motorcycle, you don't just hurt yourself. We, the taxpayers, have to scrape you off the pavement. We pay for the ambulance. We pay for your lifelong care in the traumatic brain injury ward through Medicaid. They convert a private risk into a public financial injury. This was the logic behind the trans fat bans in New York. The city argued that even if you want to eat trans fats, the aggregate cost to the healthcare system gives the state standing to ban them. This argument is powerful but dangerous, because in a welfare state, everything you do has a potential public cost. In recent years, a middle ground has emerged called nudge theory, or libertarian paternalism, popularized by economists Thaler and Sunstein. The idea is that you don't ban choices. You just rig the system to make the healthy choice the easy choice. You change the choice architecture. You aren't forcing anyone, but you are gently shoving them in the right direction. The state acknowledges that humans are lazy and prone to inertia, so they use that inertia for good. It attempts to thread the needle between protecting health and respecting freedom. Classic examples of nudges include opt-out policies. Instead of asking people to sign up for organ donation, which requires effort, you automatically enroll them but give them an easy way to opt out. Participation rates skyrocket, yet technically, freedom remains. Another example is placing fruit at eye level in a school cafeteria and hiding the desserts. You haven't banned the cake, but you've made the apple the path of least resistance. Critics argue this is psychological manipulation, that the state is tricking citizens rather than persuading them. But proponents argue that choice architecture exists whether we design it or not, so we might as well design it to keep people alive. To help policymakers navigate this, the Nuffield Council on Bioethics proposed the intervention ladder. Imagine a ladder. The bottom rung is do nothing, or simply monitor the situation. The next rungs are providing information, labeling. Then comes enabling choice, then nudging, then financial incentives, taxes. At the very top is restricting or eliminating choice, bans. The ethical rule is simple. The state should always try to stand on the lowest rung that effectively solves the problem. You don't jump to the top rung, a ban, if a tax or a label would work. The higher you climb, the stronger your justification must be. Let's apply the ladder to obesity policy. We started with calorie counts on menus, pure information, soft paternalism. It didn't change behavior much. Then some cities moved to soda taxes, a financial disincentive. This is higher on the ladder. Then, Mayor Bloomberg in NYC tried to ban the sale of large sodas, the big gulp. This was near the top of the ladder, elimination of choice. The court struck it down, and the public mocked it. Why? Because the public felt the government had skipped the middle rungs and jumped straight to coercion without proving that the lesser measures had failed. It was seen as an overreach of the nanny state. The ladder helps us visualize why some policies feel like too much, too soon. To conclude, Lesson 4. Paternalism is an unavoidable part of public health. We cannot have a functioning society without some guardrails. But the frameworks of soft versus, hard paternalism, and the intervention ladder give us a way to check our impulses. They remind us that adult citizens have a right to make bad choices, up to the point where those choices destroy the medical commons. In our final lesson of this module, we will take all these concepts, Jacobson, the conditions, and paternalism, and throw them into the blender of current events. We will look at raw milk, vapes, and the post-COVID landscape.